All right. Yeah, I might make some of these videos from time to time, but I made this like I made this argument like a while back that I'm pretty embarrassed by. I think I kept the video up, but it's like basically like the anti-Semitism thing. Like my understanding of Semitism, I haven't looked up the definition recently, but it was like people or Judaism. They think that anybody that is born or understanding like the chosen people or the uh, the Messiah thing. Uh, so essentially, like it's possible that anybody could be a Messiah or something. I think is essentially what they believe. They believe in, and so that's what Judaism believes. Essentially, that anybody can be the Messiah, or at least that was my understanding of it. So for anti-procreation, I was basically just saying, well, uh, they're species, so they're technically speciesist, and because you're talking about a fetus, or you're talking about well, you are talking about a fetus, so you're talking about something completely unconscious. But uh, I was just saying, like, um, yeah, um, I guess it's the only way to kind of correct that. Uh, like all the proposals from religion that like every sperm is sacred or whatever. So you just say, well, yeah, if they want to say that the fetus is alive, well, you just say that it's a species, and then they just are technically a speciesist if they want that baby to be born. Um, and then you could even go further and say like, well, the social Darwinism or uh, like other sentience uh, value equation, like would just be, well, it's to be that like we think we're superior, so we think we know better over the animals, and we reproduce for specific means because of that reason. That makes like no sense at all. So that's like another reason. um, we think that we're better than animals, yet we continue to procreate instead of breed. So somehow, like I don't know if it's like our intelligent landscape or our moral landscape, like is just you know way too big for uh way too big for like anything like reasonable or rational or anything like that. So yeah, I mean that's kind of where I was going with all that. And then also, like, I was trying to explain like a sixth sense, okay, because you have five senses, of course, but then um, you have like a psychological one. And the psychological one is essentially like a language mechanism, like whether it's uh, sign language, like Braille, this memorization thing. Uh, so we had like those memorization capabilities, and essentially those cause reactions, at least in my brain. But I don't seem to meet many people that have the same thing going on. It used to be like I hear voices. Now I just have like a constant dialogue, no matter what. Like like a dialogue, a trialogue, or a quadrilogue, or whatever's going on in my head. That's what's always going on in my head. But so I gotta like take pills, and they make me impotent, and like I can't, you know. But well, trying to like, like, I mean, if I want to stop watching porn just because I don't know, it's grotesque to watch porn, then like I can think my way through that box, or I can think my way out of the porn box, but I can't really the idea is, well, that's not how other people are looking at it, or they're stuck in their addiction, or they're stuck in their breeding, or whatever, their procreations. But I was trying to basically just say that was like my there was no other argument. I mean, for the sentient value equation, there was no other argument that like could just essentially destroy like all the religious views, just especially because they're procreating. Well, I mean, just to add another paragraph to like why it's stupid to procreate it. But it was just like, well, like if their text says that anybody, it's like possible that anybody could be the Messiah, and that's the only reason why they procreate, or that's the only reason why they do forced marriages to stay within their religion or whatever, Judaism, then they're doing it for that one specific reason. Like anybody can be the Messiah, so it's like an unknown or an uncertainty principle or whatever. And yeah, so that fact kind of abolishes like any reason to be tempted to whatever, just bring more life into the world just to cause more evolutionary carnage, because that's the only thing that's I'm really talking about. That's the only thing that's really going on in the true secular world, if you pay enough attention, which is really hard to do. I must. It's like we're just building pyramids all day. We're building just like we're not even building pyramids. We're just we're like building pyramids over the phone all day now instead of actually building pyramids. So yeah, it's crazy. Uh, and then yeah, it's just like, so the sixth sense is like that whole thing, but people don't think that way. They think uh, obviously anthro anthrocentric, anthropocentric instead of sentiocentric. They think anthropocentric instead of sentiocentric. They don't think of sentience, they think of anthropomorphism. And so they just idolize people and all that. And it never really gets down to anything that is the core of anything. Well, anything that really would be beyond just sentience, like neurotic capability, brains, shrimp, bugs, like just neurotic synthesis and all of that. And so when you really argue that stuff, I mean, essentially when you try to take on that stuff and you try to like embrace it as your philosophy, it makes everything like really serious. I mean, I can give up, okay, there was millions of animals harmed in the making of my psychiatric medication. But I guess the idea is like, well, yeah, I die without that stuff, so I got to live with that. Um, but what I couldn't live with was the stores and the shops and all that stuff, and the people, and like essentially the like just the pyramid builders. Because it's just so sad. I mean, it's like so sad, and it's like I couldn't put myself in that position. I mean, I do have PTSD. Even though I've gotten a lot of cognitive behavioral therapy for it, so it's like gone, but it really is gone. But now I just have like I get terrible uh, manic cycles, like every 2 or 3 weeks, and so I get pretty bad at insomnia, especially if like I don't have medication. But I don't take medication. I just take an antidepressant and a lithium. Like I take like 25 milligrams of anafranil, which is like an OCD depression antidepressant medication, and I take 900 milligrams of lithium, which those are both the lowest doses, and I was like thinking I might have to move up, but yeah. So, but then, but even if you're a procreator and you have like say the uh, extrasensory perception, the ESP, like you still get to a point where you're only focused on anthropocentric, uh, like augmentation or communication. You don't have like you just to stay in like a sentiocentric uh mindset. That's what people don't live by. Like they don't. There's just excuses for um there's just excuses for veganism and um antinatalism. Because yeah, before people were telling people not to eat meat, and then people started telling people not to procreate, and yeah, it's like in like the past year, or say when the USA pulled out of Afghanistan, or like the Middle East, like whatever, things have just gotten like tighter and tighter and tighter, and yeah, it's like the loosening and the tightening, the loosening and the tightening, and yeah, it's sort of, I don't know, it's just crazy how shit, I guess, develops, but they're important things that just people have let go of. So, bye.